Welcome. This is Barry Jones from the Angel School, and we're here for our weekly angel reading for May 15th through the 21st, 2017. So let's just take a moment to take a deep breath and to really tune in to our higher self's inner frequency of well being and love and abundance. And as you do, just allow yourself to be open to what comes through the messages that you receive, the intuitive sort of hits that you get as you go through the reading. And they want you to just release any inner criticism, okay? They don't want you to, put up your guard. And when I see this, my symbol for criticism is when I see teeth, actually. And right now I'm seeing multiple teeth, like just a whole bunch of them. And so I'm getting a sense of these layers of the inner critic that just keeps piling on as you open yourself to change that you are seeking and that is occurring for you in your life. And the tendency is to the ego wants to overanalyze the heart. They're showing me a heart in the center of this teeth. So what the ego tends to do is to overanalyze or criticize what the heart wants. And they're showing me a spine right now, the vertebrae. And it's kind of like, and then I know that I tell it to say, get a spine. It's not what they're saying, but it takes courage, is the sense I get, to stand up for what you believe in. That the spine kind of represents that for us when we say, grow a spine. Sort of. So the thing is that they want you to know that this is really central to what you want. Your desires are very central, and they're important, and that only you can reinforce what the heart wants. And that is by simply putting your attention to what the heart wants. Even though you're hearing this inner criticism trying to sort of block you from hearing your divine guidance. So they keep showing me like a little baby in the middle of the third eye. And for some of you, your intuition is sort of starting to really, it's new, and it's growing. And and for others, you've always been intuitive, but there's a new growth there as well. You're going through a new birth. And this birth is creating this, all these changes, not only changes that are coming through, but you're changing within yourself. Your belief systems are being challenged and being stirred about. And just when you think you couldn't open up any further, you do. And you are seeing yourself, you're seeing things differently. And this is, causing you at moments to have sort of these emotional occurrences where you feel vulnerable. You feel really vulnerable to energy. You're very sensitive around others. And you may even find yourself being extremely sensitive about, in a critical way, about the things that you're your new goals, your new sense of purpose. And so some of the things that you're doing that are kind of totally new territory, but they want you to know you're in the right path as they show me the number 7. And they reminded me too, and they show me again the number 6, which is don't worry. When I see this in the angel numbers, it makes me think of the Bob Marley song, "Don't worry about a thing. Every little thing is going to be all right. Every little thing is going to be all right." Why? Because they're writing out love. Love is the only reality that exists in truth because it's what God created. It's the thing that can't be destroyed. So you need to leave, they're writing out, leave those little details right now to God. Even though they're writing, you may feel exposed, meaning you don't feel like you have any control, and it dredges up a lot of fears for you to leave the little details to God. And what they want you to do is to focus on the big picture. Focus on the aspect of this that has the most meaning to you. Focus on the biggest part of this that has the greatest opportunity. And then they want you to nurture that. They just want you to nurture that bigger picture. Again, if you get too close to the tree, you can't see the forest. So looking at the details too up close, being very analytical, is not the way to see the forest, not the way to see the path or the solution that you're seeking. So step back. Okay, step back, regroup, go back to your original intention, the thing that motivated you, how you fell in love with whatever project, or if it's a relationship. Go back to that moment where you felt safe and where you felt your heart, just wide open before you became guarded. Okay? And they keep showing me breasts, which is my symbol for nurturing. And when they put the bra on, it's like you're being guarded. You're guarding your instinct to love, to nurture, to be nurtured, and you can't ever move forward. That's like being up really close to the tree when you get in that position where you feel guarded. They just wrote the word family too. So, if there's something going on in your family, they're writing out the word room, and I just feel like right now you need to give some space. So, there's some beliefs they're writing out that they wrote bye, they need to go bye-bye. Okay? And, beliefs can be picky and critical, and so they want you to feel, and that's why you can't guard your heart. You gotta feel those feelings, because the feelings also are part of your intuition, and so you can't block off part of your feelings to protect yourself from certain things, because when we block off any part of our feelings, we are limiting the way that we hear God. So we need to be always fearless in being sensitive. The thing is you need to see this as information, always. It's information. And it's giving you clear signs. So you just need to be willing to hear those, to hear the information, to hear the guidance, to be a witness of those signs, and know that what you're being told to do or how you're being guided to handle it is what you need to do. So for some reason, I just feel like this week you really need to step back from and if you get too involved or get too up close and it becomes frustrating, and you lose your connection. That you need to step back. You need to go back. You need to reconnect with the passion. You can never go wrong for connecting with your passion, with love. Um, if and I don't know this. They keep writing family again. So maybe there's something where something has happened in your family, and you've had to put up your guard, even in your own family. And you know, not seeing if someone is particularly hurting you, but there is a reason that you feel like you need to protect yourself a little bit. And what I'm feeling is that because something makes you feel vulnerable, something makes you feel like you feel exposed, or you feel um, they somehow someone has this ability to kind of make you feel powerless or in some way. And they're giving me a sense that you need to stay in your power. You need to. They show me a lamp, which is sort of like enlightenment. That you need to honor your truth, shine your truth, and make sure you stay connected to your intuition. So it it feels like that the situation is not going to be as bad as you think. You're going to always feel a little bit vulnerable because not only do they see you, it's hard for them to see you for who you have become. It's also hard for you to see yourself as being different, and have accomplished or changed or evolved is a better word here, um, because you always see them for who they were. So you're both holding each other in the past, and the only way to do that is to let go, and not just to let go of them, but let go of your part, your piece, and how you see them as they were, and try to see them for who they are. And in doing so, you'll be able to see yourself for who you've become today. And it's only in this way can others see who you truly are, because you have to own it first. You have to own your own power, your own connection, and with who you are in the present moment. So you don't have to prove it to them. You just have to believe it for yourself. You have to perceive this in yourself. They're giving me a sense. They're showing me someone in the bed just sort of turned on their side, and the best thing to do is kind of detach, put this to bed for a little bit. Don't engage the situation or the problem. Just you're not ignoring it. But what I discovered is, if you're having problems with someone, and you just can't find, you try to be nice, you try to do all these things, the best thing to do is, the biggest statement you can make to someone is not to do it to hurt them, but you just stop talking about the problem with them. You stop talking about the problem with them with everybody else, and you may have to just stop dealing with them, because that's the only way the link is broken. You can withdraw all the ways that you keep firing it up for yourself, keeping it active. See, the tension, as long as attention is given, something remains active. You have to withdraw all attention. We're not saying to ignore. Very different. You're not doing it to hurt them. You're they wrote excuses. You're not trying to make an excuse for them any longer. But what you're doing is you're just deactivating the program. It's just like taking the program off, and you just shut it down. And once you do that, there's no more activity. And it'll take a little while for that to go by. But what will happen is, and I've seen it happen, is that eventually, if that person has a need for you to be in their life, and um, they will no longer feel the energy that was going back and forth between the two of you, and they'll come to their own healing and realization through this. So just don't worry about all the little details, okay? Again, um, because those details, when you get in them and they make you feel vulnerable, and getting involved with them doesn't make you feel any less vulnerable, and actually, you know, ampli- amplifies it for you. So the only way really is to um, shut the program down, because it's the healthiest thing that you can do to alleviate the suffering that is not only being incurred by you, but by the other person as well, because they're engaged in it with you. And even no matter how powerful it may seem that they are on the other side, they are still suffering in this as much as you are, because whenever you are out of alignment, this is what really is the hell on earth, because anytime that we're not being truly who we're meant to be, which is love, that's God's will, love. And therefore, it's your purpose, love. And so when you're not loving, you're miserable. That's where it comes from. Not because there's something bad in the universe, or evil or negative. It's just simply not being who you are is what has become labels for evil and negativity and all these other things, because God is the universe, and he only has one way of being, and but he gave us free will, and there's variety and there's contrast, and so between them there is only feeling, expressing that love, that will, or not. And when we don't, when we're not being true to ourselves, we're not honoring our own feelings in our heart. That's why we can't shut our emotions down. Then we feel out of alignment. So when you shut your emotions down to avoid, you just still feel miserable. It doesn't make you feel better. But when you withdraw, because you understand that that's not who you truly are, that in spite of it all, it's still an illusion. As real as it feels, when it boils down to it, the bare knuckles of the universe, these things are illusions that we create. So we create our happiness or our misery. And you're withdrawing on this specific technicality, which is not ignoring or denying the conflicts and the things of your human experience. But what you're tapping into then is your higher understanding, which kind of trumps the human experience. And when you can tap into that frequency of alignment, it brings you back into a place of balance and clear perspective, in which you can then you feel empowered, and you can stand in fully embodied in your light beingness, and be in all the contrast, and not really um, feel susceptible to it, or fearful of it. You can I don't want to say embrace it, but you can work with it. You can work as a being of light to transform and transmute and heal, is what you end up becoming, an agent of God, his eyes of love, restorative powers. You bring that restorativeness, and that's where our gratitude and appreciation comes from. When they are the sort of the after effects of delving into the contrast. Okay, so let's take a look at the card for the week. And see, they're showing me a chair, which is usually my symbol for relaxing and, you know, reflecting, being receptive. So take back your power. Isn't this amazing? You know, I would today I was just thinking like, I'm gonna start talking, and I wonder how the cards just always fit. But not a question to really ask. It just does. So because I never see them before turning them over. So it's take back your power. I feel like, oh no, never mind. I thought I saw this card. We had a different card last week. It was passion. So this is the Archangel Raziel. His name means the secrets of God. And it says, use your God given power and intention to manifest blessings in your life. So this is about this week. This is about you taking back your power. And they're showing me a chair, but this time it's like the barber's chair. And it's sort of in the center of the room. And this is not a vision I've ever had before. So, um, this is about, I guess, letting situations, let other people, I feel like, because, you go to barber, someone does it for you, right? You take, so there, and of course, barber chair, they work on your hair. So maybe there's some link to some thoughts that you may have, or some problems. Let other people, I get a sense that if you let others do their thing, like let others help you, or let others deal with things on their own, they'll come to that conclusion. You'll be helping in that way if you kind of let others help themselves, where that's the only route, or to let others help you. But the thing is that you get an opportunity to kind of sit back, and not in a literal sense, but you get this chance to just sort of just be aware, to notice what's going on, and making decisions after you've sort of seen how things are unfolding. So it's almost a sense to sit back so you can see the bigger picture. Sometimes you need to observe what's going on before you really act out. You don't want to act in haste, is the sense I'm getting. And I know this seems a little weird, all that coming from the barber chair thing, but there is something here that you need to sort of observe the big picture. They're showing me a movie theater, but like a big screen, but a dining table for two. So it's sort of like, you know, getting a front row seat um, to what's going on. So I get a sense that whatever's been going on with you, that you're gonna get a front row seat, and what you want to do is you want, because that dining, that would be a great idea, wouldn't it, to go to the movies and have these um, like a restaurant, and it just has but it's intimate, because this is very intimate, and it reminds you of like the drive-in movies where you have this intimacy. So there's something about this that is going to be important for you. This that you be more that you don't get involved. You just kind of look and see what's going on. Watch what's going on. Watch the movie that's playing out in front of you, the drama that's playing out in front of you. Just take a front row seat, okay? And it's like the sense of have a good meal. Just meaning take it all in, okay? And then you'll get, this will allow you to, because they're showing me my symbol for power, which is the witch's hat, but it'll put you in a position of power. It'll put you in the advantage spiritually, because and they're showing me it's going to be very rewarding for you. Okay, you're going to gain a lot of information, an understanding that you didn't have before. So don't jump in, okay? Let's take a look at the card for the beginning of the week. So just don't jump in. Sometimes you think power means being aggressive or just going off on people or handling it or taking control and making trying to control the way things go. But this is not gonna be where your power comes from. It's gonna be from observation and watching, because there's something you haven't noticed is what I'm getting. All right, so for the beginning of the week, we have the King of Ariel. And this card came up last week in our reading. So the King of Ariel is someone who is generous, okay? And who is successful. And so the card says your plans are working out very well, professional and financial success, using resources wisely. And I get a sense that it's almost like, if you're a businessman and you watch, you're good like a broker, you know how to watch the market and watch the patterns and see how things flow, and that's how you learn your trade. So it's this sort of the same thing I'm getting here, that one of the things that's going to be really helpful for you and help you to make more progress and further your success in whatever it is that you're doing is to watch the process. you know uh, Learn more. And I know this is not usually the meaning of this card, but the thing is, I think a successful person represented by this card, let's say a business person or someone, is that you learn to, there are periods where you have to watch your trade, you have to watch trends. So I feel like there's something about watching trends, um, and seeing what you can learn from those trends, because you can use that information to help you to know how to plan or to invest or what to start um, investing in, or how to make your plans a little bit more secure. Okay, and the sense is that this is going to be sort of a successful um, process for you, where you're going to get some really good sound feedback, is the sense I'm getting. All right, they're writing out the word stronger. It's going to make you stronger. It's going to draw. They wrote greater as well. So it really really try to do this. Okay, with Archangel Raziel, the secrets of God. There's something that is not a secret, but it is to you because you haven't noticed. And the only way to notice is that you kind of have to be not sitting somewhere like meditative, but you have to just open uh, your mind, your heart, 360. And you can't do that if you're biting or focusing in on one specific minute detail, and the whole big picture around you is floating. All of the rest of it's floating around you. You're missing. So that's what they want you to do. All right, let's take a look at the card for the middle of the week. I knew this card was going to come up when I was seeing that baby. I'm talking about the rebirth. I had a sense that this card would come up. So the new beginning. This is usually the Judgment card, and the one thing about this card for me is that call, and something is going to call to you. So as you are, assessing trends of whatever it is you're doing, of the project, or observing, um, you know, behavior patterns of members in your family, or whatever your situation is, as you're doing this, you're going to something is going to call to you, some kind of some major solution will evolve, or something's going to new is going to develop out of this process for you, and you're gonna really feel like you're in a whole new place in your life, like you can just feel like you just sort of trumped these major issues that you were dealing with. You're going to find a different way to deal with it. They're writing out the word orgasmic, okay, and it's somehow and I heard yesterday, I read somewhere that someone said that dying was like an orgasm. And I really believe that. I believe that when the soul releases itself, that it's like an orgasm, and that change is like an orgasm. You know, even when we've been in bondage or struggling with something, and that's what relief is. Relief is a mini orgasm, and death. You know, call it the little. I call change the little death, or the angels once said this to me. Change is the little death. And so all change is orgasmic. And that's why we shouldn't be bracing ourselves, or it's sort of like denying your own orgasm. You know, I mean, think about that. When you deny change, because change is a result of your prayers. So, and they are your desires. And so to deny your desire is to deny your own orgasm. And that's what any process is constantly um, evolving, there's one mini orgasm after the next, because as you release, you're always releasing to it in order to open to the next point in your journey. So don't be afraid of them. Don't be afraid of that. But this process, I get this sense that it's going to create this change or this opening, some major release or relief, like you're just been reborn into this new awareness, or you have a new sense of clarity, okay, that could come about, or a new sense of purpose that invigorates you and enlivens you and all of your senses. And this is again why you can't shut down your emotions or the sensitivity, because it's all a part of it. Think about, I know we're going on a little too much about orgasms, but think about how sensitive you are, how open and free you are. Your desires on all levels, because we were talking about this last week a little bit about the sensuality and sexuality and your appetite for life, your creativity, your emotional, all that's a sacral chakra. It's all tied together. You know, it's a very spiritual, physical, everything. And so we have to start embracing this within ourselves in order to really be able to have fun. We can't really have fun and enjoy life if we somehow cut these things off because we think, they're not good, and we have shame around them, and we need to release that. Okay? All right, so let's take a look at the card for the weekend. And we have the Four of Ariel. So now this card could traditionally mean in some way that you could be holding back, okay? The card says, when you give, you also receive, being resistant to change, extremes in how you save or spend money. So, and remember, our finances, all this is tied into how much we embrace change. How well do we allow the mini orgasms and the big orgasms, the orgasm of death. Isn't it interesting how these things are tied together? And so, for the weekend, you may want to shut that down, okay? But you can't let anything sort of close you off from that. Just remember that it's okay to be vulnerable. That it's okay to feel that vulnerability. Not saying let it overwhelm you, but to take from it the lessons. They're showing me a book. When I see a book my symbol for vulnerability is the naked behind it. And when the naked behind turns into a book, it means that there's a lesson that could be learned from that vulnerability. So don't shut off the emotions. This is going to be a very interesting week for you in the sense that you're going to regain your power by learning how to embrace power in all the forms that you once feared. You feared change. You feared being vulnerable. You feared your guidance and being open to sensitivity. You feared um, d- changes that involve having to unplug from something. You fear letting something go because you feel like you're going to lose it. And there's never a loss, there's always a gain. So you just have to be able to trust your higher self to guide you through that change. It's going to take you around it, the path of least resistance, but you have to trust and follow what you're guided to do in order for it to lead you through it without coming out with too many scars and scrapes. Let me just tune in and just see if there's any additional messages. We're getting towards the end of our time here, but they're showing me a tree trunk, and they're showing me the tree trunk looks like the body, the naked behind, and the book is there. So all of this is tied in, meaning that the trunk is about your connection to your higher consciousness, the tree image, and that what's happening is there's a huge shift in your connection to your higher consciousness. It's creating this feeling of being vulnerable. We were talking about that last week, that some of you are going to start to channel, and don't misinterpret your adrenaline as anxiety, but it's really the downloads. Okay, and it's just a continuation of this in this week. So open yourself, be generous, trust that the new beginnings, the call that you receive in this new, allow yourself to be reborn here. The tendency is going to want to hold on to some things. You think you're going to be losing something, but it's always going to be, universe never leaves a void. It's going to be replaced with something better, always. All right. And we have the Four of Gabriel. And this card says, time for celebration, abundant rewards for hard work, release yourself from burdensome situations. Okay, that kind of just says it all, doesn't it? Especially that last line. So this gives me a sense of some really significant spiritual event moving in your life. That's sort of the underlying, because this is the bottom message card, means the underlying message here is that a spiritual event, okay, possibly something cosmic, a cosmic marriage, integration between you and your higher self is sort of stabilizing and creating more stability and a stronger foundation of love, spiritual love within you, creating this transition or restoring power, okay? Restoring your soul power. All right, so I send you lots of love and angel blessings. Thank you all for your comments and your loving blessings that you send to me each week here on YouTube as well as on Facebook. And I thank many of you for joining us there as well. If you haven't, first of all, subscribe if you haven't to this channel, so when the videos come out, you'll get them. And thank you all for sharing and continuing to share the videos. You then carry the message and help others who need it. So when you feel intuitively guided to share it with someone, don't hesitate to do that, because you're helping others to receive this message if it touches you in the way that it touches you. If you're looking for an angel reading, feel free to contact me at theangelschool.com, which you can find in the description link below on the services page. And my hours are Monday through Friday, 12 noon, and it ends at 6 p.m. Eastern Daylight Savings Time now. So, and all the other links for Facebook and Twitter are in the description link below as well. Sorry about that. So, have a beautiful week. God bless you all.